Hello and welcome to my new and improved Programming in Python 3 for Beginners course. This video will serve as an introduction to what the course will be, the different outcomes that you can expect from the course, and then we'll talk a little bit about the curriculum throughout the span of this series. The format of this course is going to be a lot different than my previous Python 3 course, and the main difference is that the videos are going to be longer. The main reason why they're going to be longer is because YouTube introduced a new feature where you can add sections to your videos. So because of this, instead of making a separate video on each specific concept, we'll be taking a general concept and breaking that down into specific sections throughout the video. So it'll allow you to pick and choose which concepts you want to learn, just like a separate video, but you'll be able to go and see specifically what we'll be covering in each video. Another difference is that I will now be including optional practice problems. The keyword here is optional in that you do not have to do them. They will be standalone videos, so if you want to skip them, you can, but they are designed to help you solidify your learning and everything that you've learned previous to the problem. If you choose to skip them, they won't impact your learning at all. The videos after the practice problems will not talk about them. They will have no correlation to them whatsoever. Like I mentioned, they're entirely there to help you solidify everything that you've learned previous to the practice problem. Since these will be standalone videos, the layout for these is that the first half, I'm going to discuss what the problem is and what the outcome of the problem should be. I'm not going to give you any requirements on what you should use because I want this to be as realistic as possible. I want you to be given a problem and then just told to solve it because that's what programming is all about. And then the second half of the video is going to be me solving the problem right on video in front of you guys. I haven't planned any solutions to these problems. I want to do them first try right in front of you guys, and I want you to see the process of what programming is actually like. I don't want to set an unrealistic expectation of how programming is because no programmer out there will ever solve the problem on the first try without having any errors at all, and that's something that I really want to portray to you guys. So I will be doing them live on video in the second half, and there will be no editing, and it will just be my process of programming because I think that's very valuable to beginner programmers or anyone that just wants to learn how to program. I've designed this series to be for a wide variety of people. One of those groups is complete beginners, so you don't have to have any experience with programming. You don't have to have any knowledge of what computer science is. This course is designed to give you a very light introduction into what computer science is and more specifically programming in Python 3. The second group is also programmers who already have experience in other programming languages or already know what computer science is. This is for people that just want to learn Python 3, whether you know another programming language or you don't know anything at all. And generally speaking, this is for anyone interested in pursuing programming as a career or a hobby. Programming is a very sought out career, so if you do want to get into that career field, this is a great introduction for you because Python is a great first programming language to learn or just something to have on your programming tool belt. There are three main outcomes to this video series. The first one being that you will learn how to program in Python 3. That's what the main goal of this course is to teach, is how to program in Python 3. And with Python 3, we'll also be talking about the best programming practices. We'll be following the correct standards for the language because there is a style guide called PEP 8, and we will be following that because it's important to learn the best practices for programming, in my opinion. And then finally, you will gain a general understanding of programming and computer science concepts. This course is designed to be able to take the information that you've gained throughout the series and apply it to other programming languages or different fields in computer science. If we take a look at the curriculum that I have planned for this series of videos, you'll see that I have 24 videos planned. In the first video, we'll be talking about Python as a programming language, how it works under the hood, the different uses of Python, and why it's such a great programming language to learn. And then we'll move into installing the necessary tools that you'll need to be able to program in Python 3. We'll then touch on very basic concepts like variables and other things about programming, but more specifically in Python 3. And then we will have our first optional practice problem. After that, we'll move into more general computer science concepts, like I mentioned before, specifically in Python 3. And then we will have our second practice problem that will take all of the information that we've learned previously and will let you apply it in that problem. We'll then move on to a little bit more deeper in programming logic and different types in Python. And then we'll have another practice problem to help you solidify those concepts. We'll then move into a little deeper into Python. We'll learn about functions, which is a very important concept with Python and other programming languages. And then we'll also touch on some more advanced Python types. We'll then learn about how to use other Python files in your program, and then we'll talk specifically on how to research. This video is a very valuable resource if you do want to learn how to program, because it will teach you how to read documentation, and it will also go over the different resources that you can use online to help you solve a problem that you may not understand. And then we'll go into file I/O. We'll talk about how to read and write to text files or other files, and then specifically how to read from CSV files and write to CSV files, which is very important if you want to be a system administrator or just learn how to automate things with Python. We'll have our fourth practice problem that will go over more specifically file I/O, but we'll also talk about functions and different things like that. And then we will move into handling errors, and then we will start to talk about object-oriented programming in Python. This will be a very brief introduction, but we will get a little bit deeper. And to help you solidify that, we will have our fifth practice problem. And after that, we will then move into more advanced topics of object-oriented programming. And then we will talk a little bit about a new feature in Python 3 called type hinting. We'll then have our final practice problem that will help you go over everything that we've learned in the entire series. And then in the final video, it will be entirely dedicated to what to do once you have completed this series. We'll go over different tools online that you can use to help you solidify your learning or practice. We'll also go over different tips for how you can help continue your learning of programming if you do choose to do so. Or if you want to stick with Python, there are also tips on what to do to keep it fresh in your brain and how to use Python in the real world. So if you do choose to continue on with this series, I will see you in the next video where we will talk about what Python is as a programming language.